Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Friday edition of the KMS Wrap-Up Show. It is December 4th. Quantum Rocket was the show today, and it was recorded last night, dropped at 12 midnight. I know a lot of people were excited for this show. It was, the first time Carano and Carabas were going face to face after the wild accusations that Carano threw towards Carabas during the Wednesday show. That's not all that kind of went on during the show. They got a little bit into the Portnoy Carabas feud, kind of got into some history of that. We learned about Carabas's love life isn't going so great.
No, not
and
at all.
It's the end
Nobody's
of Carano week. It's the final day of
Really,
I
2
guess
weeks of Carano, if you think about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I
kind
guess you
of
could
been
call it
2
a
weeks,
week and a
yeah.
half. We've seen Mike more recently than we've seen Steve, which is very surprising when you think about it. But so I'm joined today by R.A. Minahan. How you doing, R.A.?
Swell. How are you, Justin? Thanks for having
I'm
me.
doing fantastic. I like the background. I like it's not the basement. And
bad.
Blind Owl. How are you
Yo.
doing, sir? Gearhead
All right.
President.
I go by many names. I'm all right. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. So before we get started, I just wanted to say that I know that some people aren't able to watch this on YouTube, and they've requested in audio form. I do have an RSS feed, which will be dropping these shows at midnight. So in the link on YouTube right here, there's a link to the Apple podcast page. If you could subscribe or do whatever you want with it, that's that. So let's jump right into it. So, boys, how did you think it went? How did you think Carano versus Carabas went? You think it went as planned? Do you think Carano backtracked a little bit? You think Carabas pulled some punches?
I mean, I think it was just Carano was gonna try to back up his guy. It's like when you fight with family members, they're just gonna back each other up, and Carabas had all the leverage. He was just like, yeah, and what do you mean I'm not talented? Carano's totally this dick that says, oh, if there's a song and it's popular, oh, I don't like it. But then if it's something nobody likes, he's gonna love it. So he's there's one of those in every group.
He's very much. I do get the but actually kind of thing from him, where it's like you're like, oh yeah, no, I saw the new Star Trek movie, it was really good, and then he'd be like, but actually they use this sort of equipment when recording it, so I really.
It's very technical, very like matter of fact. Yeah, I get that too. I mean, it was a good argument. It was the most animated I've ever heard Carabas on the show, which I thought was kind of nice. Because if you like from the sound clips I've heard of him, he's like the Saugus Rocket, and he is kind of laid back and mellow on the show, so it was kind of cool to see fire from him. But Carano didn't really have a great argument; he just kind of ran around in circles, saying like, "Well, it's just my personal opinion." So it was like the energy was good, but the kind of like logic behind it wasn't that great. But other than that, it was certainly entertaining.
Yeah, when you get to the point where you're like arguing like, well, it's technically not a fact, I'm just stating my opinion. It's like, okay, what are we doing here? You're saying that like
it's just a useless thing. I mean, he's arguing. It was a straw man. He just was making it up. I mean, he's just making it up as he goes along. Like, oh, he knows more. He knows more. He's never spoken to Carabas in his life.
And I mean, I wonder if someone else was, I don't know who, like a good example of someone else was coming on like the Friday show. If Carano just said that because Carabas happened to be coming in, like he did, like if whoever was coming in he would have been like, oh, well, Quantum Chris is way better.
Yes. I think compared to, Carabas was a casualty of war in the sense that, Quantum Week Chris, if Big Cat was coming in, he would have said, well, Big Cat's no Quantum Week Chris. I mean, if you which I mean, people would have been saying it would be ridiculous if Carano claimed that Quantum Week Chris was better than Carabas, last week. So I mean, who knows what he would have said?
I mean, the comparison kind of works because they both kind of look funny. So that's coming from me.
Yeah, they're both different looking guys. But
I've seen older pictures of Carabas lately, and my God, he looks like an alien. Without the beard, he's just super skinny. He's got a backwards hat. Someone's avatar on Twitter. It escapes me right now, but I saw it. Jesus Christ!
He looks like the epitome of like a late 2000s like teen high school movie with the backwards hat, Red Sox, like Boston.
Yeah, I knew. Like I saw that kid. Like he's probably a year older than I am, maybe 2, but I saw that kid a million times in high school.
I went to high school with a lot of kids like that.
But I will say the one thing I actually have a clip of this is I don't think that Toronto is going to win any arguments when he just dismisses the person.
Oh my God.
What do you say?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know if you had his argument where he was just like, well, and it's.
No, I don't have that. That was
what a great thinker.
Yeah, I'm not.
He
not
goes on for
one
like 10, 15 seconds just saying nothing.
Yeah, I'm not going to shit on someone for stumbling. I don't know if you want to listen to Monday's show where I go.
You did not have a lot of good ideas for you.
It was not. It was not the best. No. But there was a point in the show where they played a clip when Kirk asked, "Hey, about this show yesterday," and said, "Do you have any clips from that show?" And I'll play it now. It's about Red from Maine.
And there's also a lot of jealousy too. People want to be in the studio.
Sure.
Too,
Oh, Jared knows what that's like. It's incredible.
Yes.
Incredible feeling. He's the most hated person right now in the world.
Could be.
And
I got those caribous after me too.
Who's that?
I think you just made up that term recently.
Maddening individual. I can't even pretend to go along with it. I'm not a Steve fan, but Carano sucks shit. He is. I don't agree with everything that Zonker does, but I appreciate that he's around. I like having him around because you need to have that.
Do you want to respond to that charge right there?
Oh, I mean, I don't listen to anything Red says. He doesn't know a goddamn thing.
But there are a lot of people saying it. I mean, there's real hatred for you.
Is there really?
Yes, you know that.
I've been so busy working on your fucking show all day.
That infuriated me when he's like, I'm not even gonna acknowledge Red. He's a fucking.
It's almost like he was big timing him.
Yeah, it's like
you know.
I mean, Red is an asshole, and he doesn't need to be acknowledged. But
yeah, no, I mean, Red's an asshole, Carano's an asshole, I'm an asshole, everyone's an asshole in this world. But you can't just say, I'm just not going to acknowledge his point because he's a dick, so why would I even give him the light of day and responding to it? It goes, it's not just Red saying this. It was multiple people saying that they did not like the attacks Carano was taking on Carabas. And I think in this world, in the KMS world, you can't just dismiss someone because of how small they are. I mean, you can't just be like, he's a no one. Because, Kirk doesn't do that. Kirk probably
he'll
do that.
punch down from time to time.
Yeah, I'll take a swing.
Yeah, like more and more. But it's just like that just halfway infuriated me. When you have to be able to respond to criticism.
And I thought it was kind of sensitive that he played that Zonker clip right afterward. Kind of like when the Steve's a Liar guy song happened. Like he cut it off right in the middle of it.
That was on purpose.
Oh yeah, what you could tell was he was kind of like,
I don't think he did the Steve's a Liar thing on purpose.
Really?
I don't.
The way he kind of played it off sounded like he did it on purpose, sort of like half joking. But there is a pattern of him being a little sensitive.
If he cut that off on purpose,
follows like 6 people on Twitter because he's blocked everyone else. So.
I don't think
I'm one of the ones he hasn't blocked until after.
He has not blocked me yet either.
I think if he purposely cut that song off on purpose to try to make to deteriorate the show, then he should not be allowed back in studio.
But at the same time, he did fuck up other audio. Like in the middle of it, it would just cut out. There was a couple of those. So
yeah, but I do think
it was weird that it was a song like just shitting on him, and all of a sudden it just like cut out in the middle of it. Like I'm sure I've got my tinfoil hat on, but
yeah, I'm just gonna knock that one up to coincidence. But I will say playing the Zonker thing right after Red said that, he had that queued up. As soon as Red said that, he thought, I'll know what I'll do. He hit him with ad hominem. He said, I can't defend. He could not defend himself against what Red was saying. So he said, I'm going to attack Red's character. Red said this, which has nothing. He said the stuff about Zonker, which I fucking hate Zonker. Everyone hates Zonker. It was months ago when Red said this stuff. It has nothing to do with the criticism Red said yesterday. So to take that off was just not a good look. Was just not a good look. I have another. Do you guys have anything else to say about that one?
I mean, when you have somebody went after you, you're going to pull up everything you got. So I don't blame him for pulling it up and just playing it because somebody comes after you, be ready for the rebound. But it is kind of sensitive knowing that some guy in the YouTube channel is coming after you. The backup producer, but
like you are you're part of the show. You're the number 2 producer. You're first off the bench, and then Red from Maine's just like one of us. Like, we're just shitheads,
And I mean, feel free to fire back, but you got to fire back with more than just I don't want to acknowledge him because he's a no one. Make fun of him for having a shitty show, The Rundown. Not that I love The Rundown, even though RIP, apparently it's no more. But I will say another take Carano had was very strange. Was that Jared was, given a C-level effort in the show by not preparing. And I haven't
seen anything. It's not like I've been checking Twitter. I guess I'll check ability to run this show to have a good show.
I'm not a co-host of this show. I'm a guest.
Yes, but then you're just mailing it in. Then you're just
I'm not mailing it in because I've never prepared for the show, and every single show that I've been on has gotten rave reviews.
Do you prepare for your own show?
From who?
Of course, I'm the host.
Well, then I find that disrespectful that you're not prepared for this guy's show. Are you just doing him a favor?
Rave reviews?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't read those reviews.
So, I mean, you take a look at that, and I don't know what your guys' opinion of it is. Do you think Carrabba's should be more prepared? I think he was plenty prepared. I think if he wasn't prepared, he would have came in today and went, "Oh, what's this? What did this Corona guy say about me?" And they would have had to go over the entire thing. But he was paying attention to the miniverse. He was paying attention to. He pays attention to Steve's not in. He knows like certain things. He knows like Kirk said, he was going to talk about the Dave situation with the merchant and stuff like that. So to call Carrabba's not prepared, I think is very it's just not truthful.
How do you really be prepared to go on Kirk's show, especially coming a guy like Carrabba's? You can't just prepare for Donald Trump to call in. How do you just expect that kind of?
It's almost like he's comparing him almost like Mike. Whereas Mike had to come in, he had to come in prepared because he was the actual like third person. Whereas maybe he think Mike came in with some stories from time to time, but
a couple every now and then.
He at least knew like what was going on. But with Carrabba's, his thing is like Kirk will probably tailor the show around who his guests are. You know,
yeah.
Like when they had Steve from Providence and Tim Canton on, like they weren't going to talk fracking. Same thing with Carrabba's. Like you're not going to deep dive into like social issues with Jared Carrabba's. Like he's going to and just like a blank slate that you can do whatever with. Like he's just a thing of Play-Doh. So I don't think he necessarily has to come in prepared when he probably has a good idea that Kirk's going to find something, just like nail him on and just keep going at him, and he's just going to kind of go with the flow. But like Justin said, as long as he's like aware of what's going on in the miniverse, as long as he knows like obviously he knows that Dave shit on him and then mention Kirk in the same breath. So he's going to probably talk about that, but he doesn't have to necessarily come in with like talking points. Like, I want to talk about this, and this.
I will say it would have been funny if Jared Carrabba was like, you hear the governor of Oregon is putting out $500 fines if you're not wearing a mask outside in public, but yet you can smoke crack. Let's talk about hypocrisy.
And then Kirk would just say, what headline are you reading that from? Like,
yeah,
he clearly doesn't know that.
Even if he didn't come in prepared, he probably would have been shit on because he comes across as this almost just like a dummy, Like part of the joke is that he is just so unaware of everything else around him.
Yeah,
so it just wouldn't. But I do think Carrano is just saying like Carrano is saying that he should be prepared because I guess it's professionalism, but he's not the co-host.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that. I think
Kirk. I mean, he said even if I'm giving a C effort, Kirk likes it, so Kirk gives it an A. So what else? Yeah, what else really matters? Like everything else is a moot point. Like that's his trump card.
And he did say if it becomes a regular thing where it's like, okay, I'm in every Thursday, then I'll be texting Kirk throughout the week. Hey, look at this. Maybe you'd be interested in this. He's going to put more effort into it once he becomes not necessarily just a guest, but perhaps maybe have more a semi-permanent role on the show.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
I think that was
3 or 4 shows, so it's not like it's super recurring at this point. He's on, now that he's in Boston, I guess it's going to be like once a week, but still, it's.
But yeah, I mean, I never think Carrano's just mailing it in whenever he comes on. I mean, we've had some guests on who some callers that would some phone interviews that were just terrible. The callers didn't give a shit. They just wanted to promote their something, or they wanted to talk about a certain thing, and I don't get that sense at all with Carrabba's.
Did he ask him what points Quantum Week Chris came in with? Like what talking points he came in with?
He did, and I actually have there was a point
with Tommy John. That was about it, right?
And Howard Johnson's.
Oh,
and
the whole.
And I actually have a
contract talk.
I actually have a clip where I'm going to play. It's I'll just here we go.
Maybe he's talented on his show.
Where was Chris talented the other day?
Where is Chris talented?
Where was Chris talented?
I mean,
where did that talent shine through the other day?
I mean, I have 100
Okay,
shows.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck about your dumb show. He was here the other day, and you said that guy was better than this guy on this show.
We're going in circles again.
Man, I don't give a fuck. It's my show. I'm going in circles all day.
Okay, let's go in circles.
So where from this guy?
You had a conversation about Hojos, about baseball.
He Howard Johnson's?
He bought you.
I couldn't help but think of like the weak son with the Howard Johnson. I think he gave his empire to his son. I think who fucked it all up.
Is that right?
I think so. There was another Howard Johnson after the Howard Johnson we know and love.
The 28 flavors, with their status of popularity by a voracious ice cream eating public, ranked from 1 to 28 like so. This is in 1949. What do you guys think of the 28 flavors of Howard Johnson ice cream? What was number one?
I'm going to say chocolate.
Matt?
I wasn't paying attention. Chocolate. Vanilla. I think it's vanilla.
It is vanilla.
Yeah.
How can that be the most popular? It's like when you...
I wasn't paying
It's kind
attention.
of cruel.
So I mean, if you just look at the argument that he was making when Carano says, "Hey, listen, how is Chris more popular?" Well, if you look at all these hundreds of shows on Quantum Week where Chris is very good, and
He is very good too.
He is very good.
I like Chris. I like Chris a lot.
But
I
he
like
was
Chris
using the exact same argument against Jared, where he says, "I don't know what you were like on other shows. I only know you from this show." So it's very, you can't use the same argument for and against the same thing.
And he does the classic, "Oh, I'm going to think of a response and repeat your question." Oh, that
I mean,
that's when you know he's going to take a second to think about it.
And he says, "Oh, we're going in circles," and Kirk's just like, "I'm going to go in circles. It's my fucking show. Like, this is what we're going to do."
And I mean, to compare the Howard Johnson's bit, which don't get me wrong, that was an all-time bit. It was incredible. I forget. I'm actually trying to memorize the 28 or 27 flavors to just have them in the back of my head. But to say that was like
space
on the level of the Andrea Russett bit, or like the mom cleaning thing, that's going to be stuff people will remember years to come.
Mom cleans his apartment.
Years to come, and I don't want to like I said. I think I want to end this by saying I think Carano did a great job this week as a intern producer. I think it's tough. I don't necessarily. I know I gave him a lot of shit yesterday on the emergency wrap up show. I mean, shit happens when it comes to he had other things to record and shit like that. So I
love the Steve power move of saying, "Yeah, I probably would have had it up."
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
I think the best Steve line was, you never realize how great you are until someone else tries to do your job.
Yeah, I mean,
I will give Carano credit. He created content.
Yo, he did.
What are we talking about right now?
Exactly.
What was today, like a big chunk of today's show. So kudos to him. Maybe he's playing the long game. Who knows?
I think Kirk made a good point when he was talking to Jared. He said, "Who's your producer?" And they said, "I don't know, Kathy or whatever her name was." And he said, "So if Kathy was out, who would be your backup producer?" And I think we can all agree that Matt Carano provides much more content, much more excitingness into the world, into the Kirk Minahan world, than a backup producer for pretty much any other podcast.
Probably the producer for any other podcast.
Honestly, yeah.
So I mean, I will have to hand it to him. I mean, he did stick there. And,
he works his ass off,
No, he does. He does.
I mean, I don't know how hard it was to delete a couple files off of a hard drive. I didn't realize that took 6 hours. But
apparently, it does. I mean,
maybe that's just me.
It would take me 6 hours, but I'm blind.
Oh yeah.
But I will,
based on a comparison.
I will say, I if I had to give an overall rating for Matt Carano this week, I'd go B. I'd go solid B, above average.
I think I'd give him a B plus, A- ish, because there was a lot of laughs. Like the past 2 weeks that Steve hasn't been in, coincidentally, have been pretty lighthearted. I like it a lot better when people are shitting on each other more so than like the phone calls. And I just I like the bullshitting, like that's just me though, like the back and forth, just like with no real agenda. And I feel like so it was looser with Carano in there almost. So I did like the 2 weeks with him in, despite the outrageous claim that he made.
I mean, as far as a backup producer, if you're grading on a curve, he has to get an A. I would say an A, not quite an A plus, because he did not drop the show on time, and I get that. But if you're for a backup producer, he's different than Steve, obviously, and I'm a Steve guy, but he came in and he, like Ari said, he created content. He laughs. I mean, he's he's kind of an idiot and kind of an insufferable douche, but that's what was kind of necessary, you know?
See, I think if you grade on a curve, he gets like a C minus D plus because
a curve.
I think
that's not the point of the curve.
No.
Well, yeah, because I mean the expectation he brought himself was super high. I mean, the way he talks up a big game, like he's like when Kirk would be like, "Are the phones not going to be fucked up this time?" He goes, "They were never fucked up." So I think
Justin,
I think
a curve is.
I don't think
that's
that's part of his shtick, though. Is that he's not so much a shtick, but that's just how he is. You know, he's
I don't know.
I
think overall I'd give him a B. I think it was a very.
I'm going to stick with an A minus.
I'm sticking with my A because that's what he is.
I'm going to stick with an 89.7.
I think we give out too many A's. I think we give out too many A's in this world.
I'm giving it an 89.7, and I round up.
Okay.
You see, I give the A. He came in. He's that guy who just says, "Yeah, I can do it," and then when it doesn't work, he's like, "Oh, it must be something else." You know, it's just one of those.
And I liked that he couldn't get the phone lines to work.
That did make me laugh.
Just adds to the mystery of maybe Steve's not lying all the time when he says these things are going on. You know, Carano can't get the phone lines working. Maybe when the phone lines aren't working for Steve, maybe it's not because he doesn't want to take phone calls or something like that. But that's really it I want to talk about in regards to the Carano versus Carabas feud. I mean, I guess we could quickly hit on the Portnoy Carabas beef. There's really not much to say there.
Yeah, I'm not big into the Barstool world, just like Carano said, and
I heard he tweeted 27 times. I think he said that.
Right. That's quite a bit.
Something like that. I mean, are we really counting to the?
He was going to tweet.
Who's hawking merch? Is that what
he said? He wanted to tweet once for every single flavor of Hobo or Howard Johnson's ice cream. It was very, very touching, but he came up short. Short.
So close.
The other thing I wanted to hit on was Love is Dead. Looks like Andrea and Jared.
It's too bad.
Jandria is no more. That broke my heart.
She still exists.
No, I mean, yeah, but I mean, she's dead to us. I mean, did you hear of?
Did you
hear of Andrea Russett before?
No. She was a flash in the pan.
I've watched every single video of hers constantly. It's just I've just been watching.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And I bet your hands are over that table, underneath that desk, huh, Justin?
And watching Netflix while drunk, 6. And she's been a content machine. But it's very sad to see that didn't work out. I hope everything works out for Jared in the future there. But anything else from today's show? You guys excited for Steve to come back on Monday? I know I am. I asked Steve.
Yeah, he doesn't have COVID. He's had a rough week and a half.
Yeah, he really has. That kind of sucks, and I feel bad for him. But I will be happy to have him back because this, he's gonna shit on Carano's handling. He's gonna say, "Why is all my stuff moved around back here?" And
Well, I guess
I don't know. He doesn't have his part of Carano's charm is that he just has outrageous takes.
Yeah,
Steve will be like, "Oh, everything's all fucked up back here," but that'll be 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And
Carano will go on for like 5 minutes about just being completely wrong about something.
Yeah,
it adds to the mystique, I guess.
We all have that friend in our group that's just like, I liked it first. I'm better than you at it. It's just like, no, you're not.
I have a buddy who goes around telling people when he plays cornhole, he goes around telling people he's never lost in his life at anything. And he's dead serious. He's like, honestly, I've never lost anything in my life. And he's just, I love the kid to death, but he's just a fucking idiot. And that's what Carano reminds me of, is my buddy. So
I think Carano did a great job this week.
He did a good job.
I don't know anyone else who could fill that void. I think it was a great week on the Kirk Minahan show.
I agree. Good week.
So to wrap up the final wrap up of the week, like I said, we are now available in podcast form. It's going to be dropping at midnight every night. The link is in the description here. If you look it up, it is. If you just look up Kirk Minahan wrap up or just Kirk Minahan, I believe it's like the 4th or 5th one that shows up. It's the logo is the Kirk Minahan Network logo. There's nothing on the channel tonight. I'm going to be doing a Justin and the Minifans on Saturday.
Isn't that basically what this show is?
Yeah, but
kind of. I think it's better than Justin and the Minifans, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
I like doing.
It's not Mike and the Minifans 2.0.
I like doing this a lot more.
God rest Mike's soul.
But
my cane's bigger than Mike's. Just remember that.
Ooh, we're having a cane off here.
Cane.
What are your thoughts on Blind Owl? What's your thoughts on Mike's blind camp?
Well, I've actually been.
Is it for quitters? That's my question.
Like, no, I've actually been to that particular
really
place. Yes, and it's
oh shit.
Yeah, and it does a lot of good for a lot of people. People like me and Mike, who grew up not really in a blind community. That really is a blind community that exists, and it's it does actually help once you kind of accept that, okay, I'm blind. Let's see how I can work with this.
Is there a graduation, and do you need a press pass?
I only went to like 1 or 2 classes, like technology classes.
So dropped out.
I didn't drop out. I audited a few. I audited a few classes.
Blind school dropout. Well, anyway, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Kirk, and I will talk to you again tomorrow night on Justin and the Minifans.